Terms and conditions apply.
Oh no, my phone.
Hear that? It's the sound of a skater dropping her phone and smashing it on the ice. Yep, it's definitely broken. But at Verizon, we got you. Black Friday starts now. Trade in any phone, any condition from one of our top brands and get a new Samsung Galaxy S24 Plus on Unlimited Ultimate and Watch 7 and Tab S9 FE 5G. That's up to $1,900 in value. So you'll save big on 3 great gifts. Hurry into Verizon this Black Friday. Service plan required for Watch and Tablet. Up to $1,900 value based on phone, watch, and tablet. Trade in and additional terms apply. See Verizon.com for details.
Point!
Hey, you okay? You don't normally miss those shots.
Oh, I just haven't been as regular lately, and it's making me feel sluggish.
You should try Metamucil. It's been a game changer for me. Metamucil's plant-based psyllium fiber helps trap and remove the waste that weighs you down.
Hey,
You're moving better than you were last week.
Definitely.
Metamucil keeps you moving. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Learn more at metamucil.com.
Let's say you've got questions. You're looking into solar, but you don't know where to start. Well, Harman Solar has the answers. Hi, I'm Jeffrey O'Brien, and listen, there's a couple of ways you can go here. One, visit harmansolar.com, browse around, because right across the page, they got links to all sorts of great information, like frequently asked questions, equipment, tax credits, even testimonials. Or just give them a call. 800-281-3189. Ask them directly. They'd love to hear from you. That's 800-281-3189. Or just go to harmansolar.com.
Now open in Scottsdale. It's United Forte Custom Door Showroom with 40,000 Euro doors and hundreds of state-of-the-art designs and finishes on display, plus kitchen cabinets, bathroom vanities, and more, all at wholesale prices. Builders, contractors, designers, and yes, you. Come see our showroom on Greenway Hayden Loop. That's United Forte, P-O-R-T-E. Stop by to see and feel the quality. United Forte Custom Doors. Find us at uporte.com. That's uporte.com.
My pain is considerable, but that prescription is dangerous.
The side effects of my medicine are worse than my condition.
I'm in recovery. I can't take those pills.
When faced with a health crisis, you shouldn't have to choose between risks.
At the Naturopathic Physicians Group in Scottsdale, our medical doctors are experts in full spectrum care using a natural approach. Patients come in for a variety of issues, including joint pain, chronic conditions, and issues specific to men's and women's health. Our naturopathic doctors can restore pain-free joint function and restore balance in immune, digestive, and hormone systems, which often improves immediate physical symptoms without having you take a bunch of pills. If traditional medicines aren't working, don't you think it's time to start feeling like yourself again? Call Naturopathic Physicians Group at 480-451-6161. That's 480-451-6161. Or go to naturopathicgroup.com.
KQFN Tempe. Also transmitting on K257CD Phoenix at 99.3 FM and K240 EU Mountain Hills at 95.9 FM. Wherever you go, take us along. Listen to our live stream on our free Fanatic app. Download it today.
It is finally Friday here on Beat the Book. You're listening to 1580 The Fanatic. We are broadcasting live from sunny uptown Scottsdale. And I'm Keon Rose. Alongside me is our betting expert, Dylan Cohen. And we've got a loaded show for you today. Thursday night football. We'll break that down a little bit. Talk about what went on with the Commanders and the Eagles. The Eagles getting the best of the Commanders, 26-18. GCU and ASU turning this dance into a seasonal thing. They get together and play each other at the Footprint Center in the Hall of Fame Classics. We'll talk about that as well. And then we've got Alex Kane coming up in segment number 2 of the show to help us get to that sport trade probability contest. Won't be Cardinals this week, and Dylan and Alex Kane will break that down for you as well. And then we'll wrap up the show as we always do, getting to the picks that we have today, including a long shot parlay and a new kind of betting strategy that we've got that you're just going to have to listen to truly understand. Anyway, before I get to that, you're on the text line, 888-368-1580. You know we love to hear about your bets. The Thursday night football bets have been doing very well for some of you. I think
I think Big Jake had some crazy bet last week that was nuts. If you had one like that went well or poorly, we'd love to hear that too. But before we get to any and all of those things, Dylan, who powers the show?
That would be Sport Trade. And make sure you stick around for segment 2. Sport Trade CEO Alex Kane will be joining us to go over this week's Sport Trade implied probability contest. And the prizes here are a $100 Amazon gift card and $50 in cash sent directly to your Sport Trade account for you to make some bets with. You do not need to have a Sport Trade account set up to participate, but there is simply more in it for you if you do decide to sign up. So go ahead and download Sport Trade today. Use promo code 1580 to take advantage of their 10% cash back promotion on new account signups. And, if you happen to tune in yesterday, the ASU and GCU game was a pretty big theme on the show. I was particularly excited because I went to the game yesterday. And Keon, I was telling you this before we went on here. I went to this game last night with Radio Ron, and being the flagship radio station for Grand Canyon University men's basketball, we do have the ability to get in with press passes for this. So we go through the process to do that. We get our press passes. We're walking in there last night, and for whatever reason, our names were not listed on the seating chart, which, happens. No big deal.
Mm-hmm.
There's someone there, whose job is to help us figure that out. We connect with that person. We explain who we are, why we're here. They took very, very good care of us. We ended up having the pleasure of sitting right next to Voice of the Lopes, Michael Potter. So we had.
So you got a little play-by-play from where you were sitting.
Very interesting experience, but great seats. Was honestly a great game just from the perspective of someone who loves basketball. When it comes to college basketball, my team is University of Arizona. So as much as I wanted to see GCU win, it wasn't like a heartbreaker. The end result. And ASU did end up winning this game. Final score 87-76. And I definitely have some takeaways. I was really happy that I got to just experience it and get a good look at both of these teams. These are both very good teams. So I just want to be upfront about that. ASU walked away pretty impressed with. I do not believe these guys are going to be the punching bag of the Big 12, which was a concern that I had before I got to actually see Bobby Hurley and the ASU Sun Devils last night. And, we've brought this person up before. ASU has, who is honestly the highest ranked recruit that they've ever brought into the men's basketball program. That would be their center, Jaden Quaintance. This guy is 17 years old, and he is a man-child. Like he is, physicality wise, he can line up with some of the, most fit, athletic upperclassmen that, are in college basketball in general. And this guy is a legitimate defensive anchor for the ASU men's basketball team. He was absorbing contact left and right, very hard drives from Jacoby Coles, Tyon Grant Foster. And he would absorb the contact. He would get blocks. He would defend in a way that would limit his fouls, because these are a lot of situations where it's so easy as a freshman to just be a little bit more reckless when you're guarding the paint. And it's pretty easy to rack up, blocking calls if you're not careful about, staying planted, when you're, going to contest a shot. He seems to have a very strong instinct on the defensive end. And in the second half of the game, it was very apparent, and it led to multiple ASU runs that helped them create some separation and build a pretty big lead. Other than that, Josan Sannon, who is their other heralded freshman, that was a recruit that was originally going to U of A. And then when Caleb Love decided to come back to U of A, he switched his recruitment over to ASU. This guy could shoot the ball. He had 21 points last night off 66% field goal shooting.
Just absolutely. It gives the ASU, I think, something they never had before, which is, we saw it last year. They'd get down in games, and that was it. Like there was no way for them to come back if they didn't play solid basketball from start to finish. They didn't grind out victories. They just weren't winning basketball games. They have this shot in the arm that essentially is on their team now, that anytime they're down, they can turn to that shot of adrenaline and he's it, you know?
Well, and I was thinking about this earlier today. You know, Bobby Hurley generally does a pretty good job of recruiting guards. And you know, maybe that's just because that's the position he played in college, so he can kind of relate to it more.
He knows what he's looking for.
You know, he can sell himself as someone that can coach a guard, you know, maybe better than some other coaches. So, I mean, for us to bring in such a talented big man, I mean, I was just thinking about, like, when was the last time ASU basketball had a dominant, imposing big man?
It's been a while. I can't really remember.
Like the names that come to mind for me are Ike Diagu, which is going really far back, and Jeff Pendergraph, who played with James Harden, who eventually did go to the NBA. He won championships with the San Antonio Spurs, although he pretty much rode the bench for most of that. So this is just a new dynamic that,
because we're talking about Jaden Quaintance, the number 9 ranked player according to 24/7 Sports. He was the number 2 center that they had, you know, and I think the rivals had him at number 1. So like he's a very highly touted prospect.
Well, and part of the reason why he deserves all of that praise is because the parts of his game that he's raw in and needs more, you know, work and needs more development, those are the parts of the game that are easier to teach and are easier to coach, because it's really more offensively. And part of that too is just the fact that he's 17 and he's got some more growing to do. You know, he's going to spend a lot more time in a college, you know, strength and conditioning program that's going to build his body up even more so that, you know, he can be a lot more dominant on the offensive end. You know, for ASU as a team, they can shoot, you know, so well that it really does compensate. And Jaden doesn't need to be that big offensive force right now, as long as he's doing his thing on the defensive end and he's being an anchor. So in the future, if Jaden is not necessarily a one and done, if he happens to spend a couple of years, maybe 3 years if you're lucky for ASU,
which given the NIL climate that we're in, that's not crazy.
I mean, I expect huge growth from him, you know, in that other side of the game where, I mean, he could be the best big man in college basketball within the next couple of years if he does decide to stay within the program. So just a very special talent that Bobby Hurley was able to bring in. And there's definitely reason for optimism for this ASU men's basketball team in the Big 12. You know, they play so many teams that are ranked on their schedule. It's very, very possible these guys could end up ranked at some point during the year. You know, all you have to do is string a 2 or 3 wins together, you know, and if they're divisional, you know, opponent or
and the Big 12 is the toughest conference. I don't even think you necessarily need to string together ranked teams in the Big 12. That's how respected this conference is. You would need to beat some along the way, but if you strung together 4 games and 2 out of those 4, 2 out of 5 were ranked opponents, and then the others were good opponents, good quality, tough Big 12 opponents, yeah, you could find yourself ranked pretty easily, to be honest.
So, yeah, I mean, with all that being said, GCU is still a very good team. And as far as them in the WAC conference, they really don't have much competition in there. I do expect them to win that conference. I expect them to make the March Madness tournament. And, you know, looking at how they performed yesterday, it was the first game where they had Tyon Foster Grant in there. So he was shaking off some rust. Jacoby Coles had a very good shooting night. He just racked up like 3 charging calls in the first half. And so from a foul standpoint, it put GCU in a position where they couldn't play him as much as they normally would. And then that hurt them offensively because some of the other guys on the team just weren't shooting as well as, you know, they normally do. And it got them into a bit of a hole. So that being said, you know, if you're a GCU basketball fan, you don't have anything to worry about here. They're going to have a good season. Things are looking very good for Bryce Drew and GCU, and I do expect them to make the March Madness tournament. Now, wanted to move over to the other thing that was going on last night. And Keon, I'm definitely going to need your help here, because with these Thursday night football games being on Amazon, They just don't put them up on TV in public places the way that games on cable get put up.
It's odd sometimes because I'll go to the gym on Sunday and I'll catch Sunday Night Football, or I'll go to the gym on Monday and I'll catch Monday Night Football. I go to the gym on a Thursday night. It's like, man, I don't know what's happening.
Where's the game?
Yeah, I'm sitting there looking at the score on my phone because that's all I've got. So yeah, like that it's a little odd when you're out and about. I had to stream it here on the computer at work because I was running the board for the GCU game. So I did get to catch it, but yeah, it's so much more difficult to just walk around and expect it to be on somewhere, and it's just not.
Was not on within Footprint Center anywhere.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, like to get the Amazon on in there, I don't think it would have been worth their trouble. I'm pretty sure they would have to pay something differently to show that to a bunch of people. Yeah, it's just an odd situation. By the way, on the text line, Golden Domer sent in a text at 9:27 last night to say, thanks, guys. Good call on Doncic with Irving being out, and a reminder that John Collins has been playing better recently. And then he posted a bet slip that was an $8 bet that paid out $66.
Oh, so there we go.
Good for Golden Domer. And hey, look, we love to see you guys make money. Booger Wolf sent a text that I won't be reading, and it's not a bad text, Booger Wolf, but it's like a blender text. We're getting into the weeds here in the sports. We'll get a little goofy later on, but right now we got the big boy pants on. We're talking Thursday Night Football and Commanders and Eagles.
Golden Domer did the thing that, as I was watching GCU lose last night, I was sitting there knocking myself, wishing that I did just take my own advice, because that insight that we had for that NBA game was so spot on. John Collins, I think he finished with 28 points last night. And Luka went off for like 37. So I mean, always great to see that stuff pan out, the way that we talk about it on the show. Going back to this Thursday Night Football game, to some extent that is how it played out. There were a number of props that I think we did really hit the nail on the head for. I know overall the end result wasn't necessarily something that you and I were expecting. I thought it was going to be a bit closer than 26-18 final score. Keon, how did that happen? How did things go down in this game?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of worked out that the Commanders were off to a really good start, honestly. Like they were moving the ball really well. They were doing what they wanted to do. They established the run early and then essentially try to rip off the top of your defense a little bit later on. They got the first part down. They did establish the run. Things were going with Brian Robinson. They were going with Austin Eckler early. Jaden Daniels had a few early scrambles, and then the Eagles adjusted and changed some things for this team. And then it just turned into a possession football game where the Commanders were playing surprisingly good defense. They were keeping the Eagles from, hitting that big shot over the top to either AJ Brown or Devontae Smith. And I think that like the Commanders secondary has turned a corner. Like I just genuinely believe in this group of guys. They do not give up those big plays. The my bad plays where, guy beats you for 25 yards over the top. Then you turn to your teammates and go, my bad. I don't know. Like they don't do that anymore. And now the whole first half of the season was essentially them doing that. They are a top 5 passing defense, and it shows. I think where things started to get more in favor of the Eagles was in the fourth quarter of that game, where the Commanders were starting to fall a little bit behind, and then they got aggressive. And Dan Quinn had a fourth down call where they were in field goal range. They had the chance to actually kick the field goal that would have given them the lead. Instead, they go for it on 4th and 2. Jaden Daniels scrambles, no gain. And then they end up turning the ball over there. And then a little bit later, they go for it on another, and it just did not work out for them. They got a little too aggressive. I think they got a little too cute in the words of some folks, and like it did burn them. I also just think that the Eagles are better. Like the Eagles looked like they were the team that is more constructed. They've been building this version of the Eagles for a while. They went to a Super Bowl with this version of this football team. And last night, it looked like that's the team that you're able to be when you can consistently play your brand of football. And theirs is run the football. So it's not exciting. They'll be behind in a lot of games, but eventually when they tire you out or when you make a mistake, and the Commanders had a couple in the fourth quarter, the result was we go for it on fourth down, we end up turning the ball over, and the drive ends with a 23-yard Saquon Barkley touchdown. Like that is the kind of flow of that game that we were having. It was very slow, but the moment that one mistake was made, it cost a lot because it was just hard to score last night. Both teams, I thought, played a very, very good defensive game.
There is completely a correlation between me not betting on Saquon Barkley to do well and then Saquon Barkley does well versus me betting on Saquon Barkley to do well and he doesn't do well.
I did hit the Saquon Barkley anytime touchdown. Hard Rock Bet had that boosted, so I went ahead and just
I bet on him last week thinking he was going to pop off against the Cowboys. He didn't get anywhere near his line on rushing yards, so I was a little worried about it last night. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to just sit this one out, but I like his carries. And he got a ton of carries. He went well over on those. But those carries led to a lot of production, and it left me wishing that I had, chased that too.
Yeah, it was exactly what you said yesterday. It's another case where you probably should have taken your own advice, because you said yesterday that the game was such a blowout in Dallas, they just didn't need to use him in the fourth quarter. So he ended up not really playing. The game was closer here, and they needed Saquon. And once they got the lead, that's the guy you trust to run the clock out. So they're giving the ball to Saquon Barkley. He's getting the production. He's getting the yards. He's burning the clock. And, you would have benefited from that last night.
That's something I'm going to have to keep in mind going forward. Now, for what's going on tonight, tons of NBA basketball, lots of college basketball and football going on, but there is something else that's happening. We've talked about it a little bit before on the show. But there's this novelty fight that's going on. It's on Netflix. We have Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul. And for this specific fight, we wanted to provide a new perspective on the bets that, we give out on this show. So one of our texters, who's a dear friend of the show, Lost Toby, a while back, he helped us get integrated with AI. And recently, he's been starting to work with AI to get it to provide betting advice that is tied to horoscope predictions. So we have AI horoscope betting advice today from Lost Toby, and I'm going to read it off for everyone right now. The moon is in Scorpio, favoring deep intuition, intensity, and emotional power. This may give Mike Tyson an edge as the moon is his ruling celestial body. Emotional energy could heighten his focus and instincts. So bet on Mike Tyson to win at plus 180.
This is about the level of seriousness that I've applied to this fight. That's exactly. This is the most fitting analysis for what this is that I have ever seen in my entire life. A joke fight deserves horoscope betting analysis. Of course it does. Because I refuse to give this actual thought. I refuse to think about this seriously in any way that matters.
Lost Toby has been privately sending me these for other stuff. And it's just kind of like a funny, fresh new way to think of it. And obviously for an unserious fight like this, like I cannot present much more of an analytical argument other than the fact that one guy's 58, the other guy is like 25 and probably juicing. So, for something like this to kind of lighten the mood, that was the way I was betting it already. So
yeah, that's the thing, is like the value is on Mike. Like the payout's not very big if you take Jake, and Mike being an underdog is weird. Even if he is 60, like he's still the guy that's actually boxed. So, like at a high level, at a championship level, like that, it's a weird enough fight, and it's a weird enough oddity. I think that's the reason why it pulls people in. Anyway, we're getting close to being over a break. Actually, we're kind of over it. So I'll go ahead and clean up the text line. We'll get to Alex Kane on the other side to talk about what's going on with Sport Trade and to give you how this week's win probability contest is going to work. The Cardinals are on a bye week. We have found a replacement team. It's the Kansas City Chiefs, and we'll let Alex Kane explain that on the other side. Robert from Surprise says, Keon, I haven't forgotten about your pizza. Just been working out of town. And no rush at all. Yeah, we have a pizza bet, Robert from Surprise and I, and I won the bet, even though I I feel like I didn't have to work that hard to win the bet. I still appreciate him coming through on the promise, I guess. Heavy Metal Maniac says, I don't have Prime either for Thursday Night Football, but I can sure show you how to pirate the games and watch them online. Oh, Heavy Metal Maniacs, that is, we
do that.
We got that covered. You're just going to have to trust us on that. We got that covered. Absolutely. Lost Toby says, I really hate, he says, DJing activities are a lock. I really hate how much money this bet is making. Most bet on fight in history. That's what I'm talking about. That like this as a fan of boxing, and like people think that boxing is a joke, but it's just very small and niche. I'm still a boxing fan. I watch great fights all the time. It's just that no one else is watching with me and no one else cares, which is okay. It's just sad to see this. This is the fight that everyone's deciding that they're going to tune in and watch. All right, I guess, whatever. Robert from Surprise says, I was being pretty bullish on the Raiders. Yeah, why? I do like the Raiders. I actually think that they're doing the right thing the way that they've been going about. But this season, no. The Moist one says, I usually just use AI to see. Okay, you know what? I'm done reading that text. I should have known better. Once I said the Moist one, no, bad Moist one, bad. We'll get to Alex Kane on the other side here on Beat the Book on 1580 The Fanatic.
1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
Live and local.
Direct savings and client focus, the cornerstones of the Diamond Dave philosophy.
Hi, I'm Diamond Dave Cantor. My team and I at Desert Wholesale Diamond can be your trusted friends with an inside scoop on the diamond world.
Just like they are to thousands of people around the world.
And just like we have been for over 34 years.
At Diamond Dave's, it's all about the diamonds and the savings, not paying for high-end retail locations or the overhead of a mall.
You stand to save big time with our by appointment professional office approach combined with direct importing.
When you choose Diamond Dave's, you choose huge savings, top quality, and excellent service. Call, email, or message us for an in-person appointment.
Or sit back and relax for free FedEx shipping anywhere in the USA.
Call Diamond Dave at 480-397-2450. That's 480-397-2450. Or follow him on Instagram at Diamond Dave Cantor. That's at Diamond Dave, Kantor.
You can live out your MasterChef dreams. You find a professional on Angie to tackle your dream kitchen remodel. Connect with skilled professionals to get all your home projects done well. Inside to outside, repairs to renovations. Get started on the Angie app or visit Angie.com today. You can do this when you Angie that.
Oh no, my phone.
Hear that? It's the sound of a skater dropping her phone and smashing it on the ice. Yep, it's definitely broken. But at Verizon, we got you. Black Friday starts now. Trade in any phone, any condition from one of our top brands and get a new Samsung Galaxy S24 Plus on Unlimited Ultimate and Watch 7 and Tab S9 FE 5G. That's up to $1,900 in value. So you'll save big on 3 great gifts. Hurry into Verizon this Black Friday. Service plan required for Watch and Tablet. Up to $1,900 value based on phone, watch, and tablet. Trade in and additional terms apply. See Verizon.com for details.
Everybody's got a podcast these days. Comedy, politics, true crime, you name it. But how many actually teach you anything useful? Harmon Solar has an entertaining podcast that is vital if you've been thinking about looking into solar, but you don't know where to start. Ralph and Ben explore the intricacies of utilities, equipment, processes, and more. Their primary objective is to educate and empower you to make informed decisions on your solar journey. So increase your knowledge, not your bills. Go check it out right now. It's the Harmon Solar Podcast at harmonsolar.com.
The GCU men's basketball squad is coming off their winningest season in 35 years, their third trip to the NCAA tournament in 4 years, and their first ever NCAA tournament victory. Returning 4 of their 5 starters in Ray Harrison, Colin Moore, Duke Brennan, and reigning WAC Player of the Year, Tyon Grant Foster, the Lopes look to defend their WAC titles and make a run to the Sweet 16. With a non-conference slate, including Stanford, Georgia, and crosstown rival Arizona State, you won't want to miss a moment of the action. So join me, Michael Potter, and Lopes insider Paul Coro all season long, right here on the home of the Lopes, 1580 The Fanatic. Lopes up.
1580 The Fanatic and at 1580thefanatic.com.
Your home for sports.
Money
And we are back. You are listening to Beat the Book. I am Dylan Cohen, and in the control room is my co-host Keon Rose. And joining us now is Alex Kane. He is the CEO of Sport Trade. Alex, how's it going, man? How are you?
What's up, guys? Big day in sports today. A lot of things going on.
Huge day in sports. We are very excited to have you on right now. We've been talking a bit about all the different things that are going on tonight. And before we get into some of that stuff with you, we've been running this weekly Sport Trade implied probability contest, and it's been going pretty well. Up until now, we've been doing this contest for Arizona Cardinals games, but our Cardinals have a bye week this week, so we're switching things up a little bit. Alex, would you mind just explaining for anyone new that may be listening right now, what exactly is this contest? How is it going to work this week? What are the prizes? Who is eligible to participate? All that good stuff.
Yeah, so I'm really glad this contest has been taking off. This is really a testament to you guys, but also it's a part of our attempt to have people think about sports betting in a totally different way. And that different way is probability. I joke with people all the time, when you open up the weather app and see if it's going to rain tomorrow, it doesn't tell you that it's plus 400 to rain tomorrow. It says there's a 20% chance. And Sport Trade gives you that opportunity to view our prices as probabilities. And so this contest is anyone can enter. All they do is text in their guess. They get one guess per person. And what they're trying to guess is what is going to be the win probability of the Arizona Cardinals at halftime of the game, after one half is played. Of course, there is no Cardinals game this week, so we're going to do the Chiefs win probability because they're playing the Bills at the Bills, I believe, and that's going to be, I think, America's game of the week, and we're all going to be tuned into that one. And it's the Price is Right rules. So you have to get as close as possible to the observed probability without going over. And so I think you've announced some winners from last week, which is great. I think were there two winners last week that tied?
Yeah, it was NFL Blitzer and Sir Drives a Lot.
Yep.
Two texters that won that.
And so now we have this week, Cards are on a bye. Chiefs at Bills. Right now, Chiefs are offered at 46.5% chance on Sport Trade. That's the win probability. It's another way to think about the odds. It just means 46.5 pays out a total of 100. But our probabilities stay open throughout the game. So Chiefs score a touchdown, that number goes from 46.5 to 60. Bills score a touchdown, that probability for the Chiefs might go from 60 back down to 50, so on and so forth. And your job is to guess what you think that probability is going to be after one half of football. Can't be 0, can't be 100, as you like to say, Dylan. Not possible. The game won't be over. But there will be a probability. I think the lowest the Cards ever got in one of these contests was like 12%. They've gotten as high last week as 95% after one half of football. So it is going to be a wide range. You really don't know. Are the Chiefs going to be up 17-0 at halftime? I have a sneaky feeling this team likes to kind of play from behind. Could they be down 10 points and offered at 15 or 20%? So that is what you're trying to guess.
And what were those prizes again that you can possibly win?
Prizes are $100 Amazon gift card. And if you choose to create a Sport Trade account, we'll put $50 of cash in your account so that the next week you can, if you think the Cardinals are going to go up in the first half, you can go ahead and bet the Cardinals at the pregame win probability.
So there you go. Those are the rules. You can go ahead and start to send us your submissions. The text line is 888-368-1580, and we will accept your submissions all the way up until kickoff of the Chiefs and the Bills this coming Sunday. If you happen to send in a number and then you kind of think about it, you want to switch it up, we do allow you to change it, but just know that if you send us a submission after that game starts, it will not count. And other than that, just like Alex said, we've seen winning weeks where that implied probability is very, very high. It's at the upper end of the spectrum, like last week at 94.5%. It's been as low as 12%. So my continued advice for anyone that wants to participate in this is you got to differentiate your guess. You got to shoot very high. You got to shoot very low. Because if you're going in the middle, there's a lot of other people participating. It's going to be very difficult to win with those prices right rules. So excited that you guys are doing another week of that contest, Alex. It's been great. We've been getting more and more people participating with each week. And let's get into some of the stuff that's going on tonight, because we've got this big, I keep calling it a novelty fight because I don't really know any other better way to label it. But, Jake Paul, Mike Tyson, it's going down at the Cowboys Stadium in Dallas, Texas. And Alex, I'm really just curious to get your thoughts, just being the head of a sports book. This is something that's been rumored to, attract like more betting volume than any other event in history. Like, what is Sport Trade seeing right now as far as the bets that are going on for Jake Paul and Mike Tyson?
So right now we have Mike Tyson is right around 29%, Jake Paul 71%. I think we've seen more action on Jake Paul at this point. But where I'm seeing globally is that there's a lot of interest on Mike Tyson. We'd like to think of the knockout videos and stuff we've seen over the last 10, 15 years. We just have to keep in mind, he is 58 years old. And so I think I'm going to be watching the fight tonight. I definitely have tempered expectations. I would say the best boxing match I've ever seen would be Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury in 2017 or 2018. That was hard to envision a boxing match beating that in terms of the wow factor. Of course, that was the famous fight where all Tyson Fury had to do was stay away from Wilder in the last round, and he didn't, and he got knocked down, and you thought for sure he was going to stay down in some way, shape, or form. He came back up. So I have very tempered expectations for this. I pray that no one gets seriously hurt in terms of the age difference here, but it has been interesting. This is probably the biggest handle we've ever got on a boxing match.
I at least for me personally, I feel like the public is dealing with some level of being traumatized through what happened with Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather, because that kind of has a similar feel of just it not being like a very non-serious fight. And obviously, like in that matchup, the guy who was the favorite ended up winning. That's generally what happens anytime Tyson Fury fights. So it's kind of hard to ignore the fact that, Jake Paul's got a pretty big edge on this, but, it is Iron Mike Tyson. Perhaps, he lands a punch in the right way and, he's able to come out on top. I don't know, Alex, if you saw the weigh-in. Mike looks pretty incredible for a 58-year-old. So that gave me a little bit of hope that, maybe this isn't going to be very one-sided and we'll get a pretty exciting fight. Alex, on Sport Trade, there's a way to be able to see like all these other bets that come in that other people are making. Would you mind just telling us a little bit more about that?
Called The Tape. It's available to anyone with an iOS device. We're working on bringing it to Android. You don't even need an account. You can be anywhere. So if you're listening and you're saying, hey, I've heard about this Sport Trade thing before, maybe check it out. Download the app, check out The Tape. I'm going to scroll and see if I've seen any big trades on The Tape. Our biggest bet last night was there was a player who bet 30,000 on Eagles minus 4.5. Man, what a roller coaster that must have been. I mean, that looked dead in the water until the second half of the fourth quarter. And so, you'll see bets like someone just put $1,800 on the under 223.5 of the Minnesota-Sacramento NBA game at 51%. Someone just put $400 on Wyoming to beat Colorado State tonight on the money line, 26%. We see a lot of player props. We offer a very, very large array of NBA and NFL player props. We see a lot of that as well. And in a future release, we're going to start to filter this. So you could say, hey, just show me the biggest 10 bets today, or just show me bets over $100 in the NBA. Because as we grow in popularity and as players are starting to use Sport Trade more, which is great, we're starting to get 2,000, 2,500, 3,000. And on last Sunday, we surpassed 3,500 trades in one day.
Wow.
So we're growing. We're getting there. The tape is a very differentiated feature. If you do have an account and you do look at a bet, like someone just bet $1,700 on under 208.5 at 49% odds at Philly versus at Orlando Magic, and you want to copy that bet, you can swipe right, enter your bet, and when you submit it, you are now going to be the latest trade that's come up on the tape.
So I have to admit, I mean, the tape is by far like one of my favorite things, just to get a better idea of what the other people in the betting public are thinking about and seeing the kind of action that they're putting down. And I'm happy that you brought up that, whole capability that's going to come down the line with filtering the tape, because, you think about this fight right now, Paul and Tyson, and how cool would it be to be able to filter the tape, like just for that specific fight. And then I can see all the action that's come through on it. Or maybe, you're entering into a specific NBA game that's going on tonight. And then there's like a, little version of the tape that shows up on its page, and it's showing all the action that's gone down on that game. I mean, there's so many possibilities where you can take that, and it just gives you so much more transparency than what any other book out there is willing to give you. So just, more reasons to start to leverage Sport Trade for your bets. Alex, I did want to ask you, are there any new updates or any new things that we can keep an eye out for on the horizon with Sport Trade here in Arizona?
So we've done a couple things. In the last release, which came out, I believe, on Monday of this week, we simplified the app a bit. So instead of showing you like $67, we just show you 67%. So for example, someone just bet Victor Wembanyama under 27.5 points tonight. That's Lakers at Spurs. Bet $261 at 67%. So we've streamlined the app a bit. We've gotten rid of terms like buy and sell, just to sort of simplify the experience a bit. For our more active, avid, experienced players, we do allow you to offer your own price to the market. So let's say for that boxing match, you look at Jake Paul and Mike Tyson, and you say, well, Mike Tyson's offered at 29%. That's a little bit expensive. I'd be willing to bet at 28%. We allow you to do that in the app. It's more of an advanced feature. And you can now, with our newest release, say, hey, I want to bet at 28%, but I only want this offer out there for 4 minutes, for 10 minutes, until the fight starts. So think of it as setting like a custom timer like you would on your iPhone. But in this case, you're not doing it for, when your dinner's ready out of the oven, you're doing it to ensure that your order doesn't stay out there too long. So that's what we put in the last release. In the next release, we're going to continue to simplify the app. I'd love to add things like charting. So you could actually see, wow, Jake Paul started the day at 78%. He's in bet all the way down to 72%. And I'll take that a step further. Imagine a live NBA game where you watch the Suns' probability go from 30% to 70% because they go on a 12-0 run in the third quarter. So we're going to consistently add these new features that are very differentiated from a traditional sports book, but also help you understand what's so magical about Sports Trade, and that is you're able to buy in on one probability and then cash out when that probability changes.
So those are both things that definitely just contribute more to how Sport Trade stands out compared to the other sports betting apps that are available here in Arizona. Especially that ability to cash out live during an event or do a partial cash out. Alex, I've had a number of parlay bets this week where there were times over the course of all the things that I bet on where I was offered a cash out, but I didn't want to, completely ditch it. If I had the capability of doing a partial cash out, I would have taken it. And every single time I'm looking at this ticket and I'm like, I can't wait to parlay on Sport Trade. And the capability of doing that is coming. We should hopefully be getting around to that within the next few months here. And we'll be sure to fill you in on when that is finally available. Very excited for what's to come with Sport Trade and with everything you can do for it right now. So Alex, with that, just wanted to say thank you so much again for joining us here. And, if you're personally doing any betting on Paul and Tyson, good luck with your bets. And we'll be sure to catch up with you next week.
Awesome. Thanks so much, guys.
Absolutely. So we are going to get to a break here, pay some bills. But when we come back, wanted to talk a little bit about today's long shot parlay. There was a post on the Beat the Book website with more bets, so we'll get into some of that. And we'll talk a little bit more about what we like in the NBA tonight. You're listening to Beat the Book on 1580 The Fanatic.
1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
Live and local.
Breaking news, and this one is almost unbelievable.
Yeah, it's all about new customers at Bet365 because they get $150 in bonus bets when they bet $5. And even better, bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, and player props.
There you have it. Bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets. And see why. It's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Arizona. Terms and conditions apply.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com.
It's fall football season, and Kasai Japanese Steakhouse is doubling down. Now with 2 Valley locations. When it comes to Asian cuisine, no one does it better and more authentic than Kasai, where talented teppanyaki chefs create the food, the fire, and the fun of teppanyaki. Kasai Japanese Steakhouse isn't just dinner, it's dinnertainment. A memorable dining experience where a delicious 7-course meal is paired right at your table with flair. It's a perfect choice for celebrations, date nights, or a night on the town. Choose from over 30 different items and combinations of teppanyaki, Asian fusion, and innovative sushi. Happy hour is always on fire and offered daily with specials on their Asian-inspired comfort food like Korean steak tacos, Mongolian barbecue ribs, and signature Wagyu beef sliders. Always a memorable dinner, or catch the game and a bite at the bar at Kasai. Now the 2 locations, Scottsdale Road in Thunderbird, and in Peoria at the 101 in Northern. Go to KasaiTeppen.com. That's KASAI Teppen.com, or search Kasai on your mobile phone.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down. Slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pegol is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
The most important event in sports could happen at any time.
Like right now.
Or right now. Or even
now.
Don't miss history. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, or at 1580thefanatic.com.
So make sure you get us those submissions, by the way. The win probability contest brought to you by Sport Trade features the Kansas City Chiefs this week, not the Arizona Cardinals, who are on a bye week. But this is the, I believe, the Fox America's game of the week. So we're going to go with that one. And the Chiefs are, the Chiefs are undefeated. Everybody knows who they are. It's an easy pick. So here it is. Halftime. What is the Chiefs' win probability going to look like at halftime? It's the same contest that we do with the Cardinals. We'll just be doing it with the Chiefs visiting the Bills. We got a couple of guesses. There are people who are lowballing it right now, which, to be fair, when you look at what the Kansas City Chiefs do, they seem to always get things rolling in the second halves of games. So we did have one from Swazman. I won't give out your pick, but he says he said it pretty low. And he said, with my personal bets, I'm betting that Kansas City will come back and win. So he's still taking Kansas City, and he's got some second half bets and full game bets that I think he's hoping will hit. But the win probability, he's got
pretty low. Golden Domer, I see you as well. So go ahead and get your pick down. The moist one says, does it make it any better if it's Aiden O'Connell? No, it does not. It does not. It fixes literally nothing. All right. So that's we've got that wrapped up there. So make sure you get us those submissions so that we can get that. You've got until kickoff of Bills Chiefs Sunday to get us those submissions. We'll go back through. We'll take a look at it on Monday and see which of you was the closest without going over to what the Chiefs win probability was going to look like at halftime. So now we've got the long shot parlay coming up to wrap up the show. But before we get to that, let's take a look at some of the other picks that you've got going on, DC.
So again, if you have not been to the Beat the Book website, there was a new post today with 10 bets to make. There's picks for NBA tonight, for college basketball tonight, for NFL on Sunday. So definitely check that out. You can honestly, by now, you can just search on your browser, like Beat the Book, Dylan Cohen. And I mean, the search engine optimization, it's a beautiful thing once you've been doing something consistently for long enough, because then you just pop up, you're the first thing. So just search Beat the Book, Dylan Cohen. You'll find the site. You'll see the picks on there. There's also links for the podcast that I produce, 6 Point Play. That's where I put all of the best responsible NBA bets. So if you're looking for the very reliable, the very safe, non-degenerate things, you check out 6 Point Play podcast. If you're looking to live on the wild side a little bit more, come on down to Beat the Book. Go all the way down to the post you're looking at. You'll find the long shot parlay of the day. Now, we had something kind of come into play. It is what it is. I didn't have any way of foreseeing this. When I was putting all this stuff together this morning, there was no whiff of any news of something going on with Nikola Jokic. He's not injured, but he has been ruled out for the Nuggets game tonight against the Pelicans due to personal reasons. And with how injured the Pelicans are right now, the Nuggets probably just looked at that and said, we don't really need you. So I think that's really what's going on. They're just kind of being secretive about it and just giving him the night off. But Nikola Jokic was in that long shot parlay. So now that leg is voided. It's decreased the payout. If you happen to get on it while Jokic was expected to play and now that leg got voided, the payout got reduced down to like 80-1. It was originally 283-1. So I do have an alternate leg that you can put on there if you want to go ahead and still jump on this. I'm going to run through that right now. This long shot parlay, it's 4 legs. And when you build it in this current form that I'm about to run through with you, the payout is 295-1. So just under 300-1 odds. You will not receive a W-2G for this one, which is very important. You don't want to have to pay the government tax on this stuff when you don't need to. So the way that this parlay breaks down, we have Tyler Hero, Karl Anthony Towns, and Jordan Poole each to get 30 plus points tonight. And then the 4th leg is for LeBron James to get a triple double. If you're not aware of this, LeBron James has had 3 triple doubles now in his last 3 games. So on the surface, not the most likely thing to happen, but when you look at how he's been playing recently, it's a lot more plausible.
Yeah. And usually LeBron is good for the LeBron, like nearly triple double, but he's kind of had to step his game up because there's the rest of those Lakers are not helping out. It's Anthony Davis, it's LeBron James, sometimes Austin Reeves. That's about it. That's all they've got going on over there.
No more D'Lo. He got sent to the bench.
Yeah, it's brutal.
So that is going to be the official long shot parlay for today. Again, that's 4 legs. It pays out just a little bit over 295-1 odds. I will post that bet on the Beat the Book Instagram account so you can see that and then make your bets accordingly. The Beat the Book Instagram handle is at Beat the Book Fanatic, all spelled out. And then if you actually just hit the link in the bio on there, that'll take you right to the Beat the Book website. But check out my story. I'll post the picture of that revised long shot parlay. And just to speak about the other things on there, we tried doing this 30-point club long shot parlay back on Wednesday, and we didn't hit on that. We got 1 out of 4 on that. But the point that I was trying to make was that day in the league, I mean, you look around and there were big games all over the place. There were people who made the 30-point club. We just didn't quite get all the members of the 30-point club.
Yeah.
But
in fact, I think there were as many members of the 30-point club that night as you recommended. It was just different people than the ones we thought. So we're hoping that this one hits a little better.
Well, and Jordan Poole, Karl Anthony Towns, Tyler Hero, they were all members of the 30-point club back on Wednesday.
Yeah.
So these are things that these guys have been doing.
And in matchups that I think give them the ability to do it again. I really like the Poole 30 points against Atlanta. He's been having big games against Atlanta this season. And he's got the green light in Washington. Like they're letting him take whatever shots he wants to take, and they don't mind. And he's been filling it up.
Karl Anthony Towns is averaging like 32 points per game over his last 5 games.
It's insane.
It's coming off of 46.
So I feel good about that one too. And when you did the 30-point club the other day, you did have Karl Anthony Towns, and he was one of the guys that actually did hit that. Half of the members of the people we tried to let in the club actually made it in the club.
So, we're going to try and be better bouncers and get that membership right. But, outside of the long shot stuff, if you want to look to NFL football this coming Sunday, we've been talking about the Chiefs and the Bills for the sport trade contest. But if you want my 2 cents on that game, you never bet against Patrick Mahomes as an underdog. Just rule of thumb betting advice.
Just simply do not do it.
You don't ever do it. You live and die with it. Most of the time you live, and you feel really good about yourself after the fact. So that is my advice there. Kansas City Chiefs money line. But check out that Beat the Book website. See the other plays for tonight, for this weekend. And then don't forget to send in your text submission for the Sport Trade Implied Probability Contest. You do not want to miss out on winning the $100 Amazon gift card and $50 in cash sent directly to your Sport Trade account. Keon, take us home.
Yeah, got one last text on the text line. It's from the Moist One, who says, still coming over for the Tyson fight, DC. And damn well no one's going over to your house, Moist One. You know this. This is a bad idea. I highly recommend that nobody do that. It's a trap. It's a trap. Admiral Akbar said it the best. So that's going to do it for us today. We've got a lot of football coming up this weekend. We're going to break that down on Monday. We'll give you how the contest turned out. Remember, send those picks in, and that'll do it for us. I'm Keon Rose alongside the betting expert at 1580 The Fanatic, Dylan Cohen. We'll see you Monday.
I'm Red Lewis with NFL Network.